We're here with Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin and the Rebels, now 5-0 after beating Kentucky. And Lane, I'm going to start out by asking about your coordinators. This video of Charlie Weiss Jr. and Chris Partridge, it's a beautiful thing, maybe a little bit too low angle for Chris's taste. But when you have coordinators hugging like that after a game, what does that tell you about your staff?
That it's a really close, unique staff. And so, I mean, that was so powerful and cool to see, after the game, locker room was great, everything. And then it kind of calms down. You're kind of sitting there and you turn another game on and you're kind of okay, yeah, we won. It was great. And it kind of dies down a little bit. And, kind of your buzz dies down a little bit. And then I saw that video and it brought everything back. It was so cool, to see that and to see how they were and just how they were versus here's the offensive coordinator that could be in the tank, well, we screwed up on offense, we didn't play very well, versus who cares? We won the game, that's all that matters. And that was really cool to see. And it kind of even overflowed into we did a lot of things poorly in the game, especially on special teams and offense that, you sit there Sunday or Monday with the players, you're frustrated, you're mad because you wish you would have called a different play. You wish they would have done this, and we could have kind of blown the game open 2-score, 3-score lead versus letting them hang around. And I joked with the players because they know we always try to find something positive out of everything. And I'm okay, I'm really mad about these plays, but had you made these, then we wouldn't have been in the situation. We would have never had the video at the end, and our fans wouldn't have had that memory of the stadium, rocking at the end and everything. So, I was hey, thanks guys for being so bad in 4-minute offense.
Lane, that was a very sturdy program you guys played that has been building something for, 3 or 4 years and have progressively become this is what their expectation is. To get a win like that, what does that say about where your program is currently and how you feel in terms of looking into the future for what it could be, even this year?
Well, I think it feels good on everything you said. Plus, we lost so much last year. We beat them 2 years ago when we played them. And if we would have beat them last year, we had all these guys that we knew were going to be good and thought it'd be a great year. And so to have to rebuild and reload and to beat them early in the year like that is a really good feeling about the direction of the program.
So you've helped cast yourself. I think you've kind of helped brand yourself as the king of the portal. But I look at that game. You have Micah Pettis making his first start as an offensive tackle and playing great. Quinshon Judkins is leading the SEC in rushing at this point. How much can you kind of marry the concepts of filling the holes on your roster through the portal and targeted portal recruiting and then having these homegrown guys?
Yeah, actually both tackles are redshirt freshmen, high school signees. So that's pretty cool. Like somebody said, when we were looking at the game a year ago, would you have, thought both tackles are redshirt freshmen and the tailback carrying the ball at the end was a true freshman. So that is exciting because, they're there for a while. And it's exciting to see some balance. So it's just not all portal guys. And I didn't name myself Portal King, by the way. Someone tweeted that and I retweeted it. But
retweets are endorsements. I've learned that's what the tweeters tell me.
I did think it was funny with the Tiger King thing, so I did retweet that.
Lane, the thing that I'm curious about,
and we were passed by Lincoln Riley, so I sent him one. I texted him one day. I said, "You are actually the Portal King."
It's funny because you have this online Twitter persona, right? That people view you as a certain type of person. And, this is the first time I've met you face to face, but this, isn't that persona. What do you want people to think that you are? And how does that differ from who you think maybe you are?
I just like confusing them. I don't know. I just think often in coaching, you just see, especially if you don't cover them, you're not there daily around the program, you just, start to think something of someone based off of something they did, or you made an opinion early. This is what they are. And so we have those opinions of people. And then I've had them, and then you go work for someone as a head coach, and well, he's nothing what I thought, or what outside thinks. So I would say Twitter is probably a lot closer to how I really am daily. than what maybe people think.
You've been more outspoken, it feels like, even the last year or so, talking about the portal and talking about NIL. And it feels like you say things that other coaches definitely think, because I hear them say it off the record. You say it in press conferences. You say it with a microphone in your face. Was that a conscious decision to just say, look, why don't we just talk about this stuff?
I guess maybe that kind of after the firing at USC, like, the whole like, hey, you're supposed to say this all the time and the coach speak and everything. I was just like, after that, like, I don't really know why we do all that. And we really just waste time in press conferences and interviews and don't say anything that really matters and, just say the company line. So I just I think FAU loosened that, and then I just kind of kept going that like, hey, I'm going to ask a question. I'm just going to tell you what's going on.
That just made you my favorite coach in college football. Thank you for saying that.
Favorite one to interview because it's not so boring.
In general. But it is an interesting thing when you look at just how much has been changing in the sport. And we've said this on the show. You could probably make the case that there's been more evolution in the sport in the last 3 years than maybe even the previous 25 combined. As a coach who, was at a new place during, going into the COVID years and all the stuff that you've had to manage. We talk about roster, management, portal king, recruiting a new state. That seems like a lot for a human being to kind of adjust to. How do you think you've managed that? And do you think that the evolution piece of college football as it pertains to your role as a coach is going to continually be like this on an annual basis moving forward with all these changes?
Well, I can't imagine like more significant changes coming like these two that did, which I say in about the same year, even though portal's earlier than NIL. Portal really didn't like hit to where like kids are like, oh, I'm going in. Portal initially was just like, okay, I'm not pleased how I'm playing. I want to go somewhere else. It wasn't like, as viewed as like free agency, like, hey, that place may be better for me or, a better team that I'll win more games and stuff. So I think the fact that basically in the same year span that NIL hit of, I say it's not pay for play, but we all know it's pay for play. So you're now a professional sport in a 1 year span. Those two things are so significant. I don't know how there could have been an error, like you say, 25 years combined that would change so much. And it really just made the sport what professional sports are, that it's so much financially based and about money. And now you have conferences that have changed and are changing and people are leaving conferences. So if anybody wants to get on the kids for chasing more money, just look at their leadership of, what programs are doing. Going across country to change conferences for more money.
That brings us to the would you rather question. This is something we do on the show. Ari comes up with some of the most just odd, would you rather this or this? He's got one he came up with for you that I think is really, because I want to know how you feel about it. But I'll give you a sample of one I had to answer. There was one where Ari said, would you take $10 million, but it meant there will be a turtle at some point who just starts walking towards you. And if he gets within 5 feet of you, you die. But you don't know when he's coming, and you don't know when he'll get there.
Or where he started.
So would you take the $10 million and just kind of move around and hope the turtle doesn't find you? Because he's a turtle. He's slow. He's not a Ninja Turtle. Would you take that money? I said, yes, I'll take that money. I will risk that. But we were workshopping him today. He has one that I think is really interesting for you because of how well you've handled the.
Can we dive back to the turtle thing? Like I'm waiting for more of it.
Yeah.
Like so,
it's
$10 million whether the turtle can find you.
It's constant,
or no money, and then I don't worry about the turtle.
Yeah, the turtle. You just live your life and nothing happens.
Okay.
Would you take the money, or would you want to live the rest of your life knowing that this thing that's very slow probably can't catch up to you, but know every night that when you go to bed for 8 hours that's an 8 hour window where this turtle it knows where you are at all times and is in constant pursuit of you.
What happened? And I die?
If it gets within 5 yards of you.
I wouldn't like that. So
yeah, but what if
I know, like we tell our players all the time, they think like money's going to solve everything. If I get in the this is every player forever for the most part. If I get in the NFL and I get money, every problem is going to go away because I have money. So now, being fortunate to have money, that's not true, and it does create more problems.
Yeah.
So yes, I would not want that feeling going to sleep that like that turtle is going to like crawl in.
Whoa. Well, then we know how you'd answer the other one he asked me once.
Okay.
Where
No, I think it's still a good thing.
would you take $10 million and know that you'd wake up fine every day, or no, would take no money and know you'd wake up fine every day? Or would you take $10 million and there's a 5% chance you'll wake up covered in peanut butter?
Every day, or just
Like once and on an average of once every 20 days, you will wake up covered in peanut butter and must wash it off. Which
I would think you take the money. I mean, you just shower and
exactly. Thank you. All right, give him the one
thing that you're not considering is that if you wake up in your own bed covered in peanut butter, how much of a disaster of a mess that would be.
You have a lot of money. You can buy bed linens. All right, go with the one you're going to ask.
Well, the one question that I had before we get to the would you rather, so I'm going to hit you with two. And I thought this was an important thing because you have a background in professional football, and now you just said that this is professional football. And it's something that we consider all the time on the show. But is your relationship, how you coach, how these players, are treated, not that they weren't treated good before, but does that change now that they're making money?
I don't think it changes like daily interaction at all. I think it just changes because the money part's in combination with the portal and like kids can leave. So in the back of your mind, there is some like, okay, hey, when that guy doesn't play, he may leave, or before they really didn't leave for the most part, or hey, am I coaching that guy too hard and he's going to get mad and leave? Now, I'm not saying that changes a whole lot, but that may be in the back of my mind. But I don't think that that's money based because they have money. The only thing that I see a little bit of, and I'd be interested to know the places with these huge, I call them contracts, the players have. Does that change the players' like drive? Because we know that happens all the time in life. People get money and their drive changes. It happens in the first round of the NFL. They get all this money and then their drive changes. So that would be the piece that I would wonder a little bit like, hey, I have this drive because I have no money because all I have is this scholarship check and I can barely get groceries and everything. Now I have some money. Like, does their drive change a little bit? I've not seen that, but then again, we don't have these players that some of these others.
Okay, so now to the money based. Would you rather? If I gave you $100 million right now in a briefcase, clean money, it's yours. Do whatever you want with it, scot free right now. You could take that and live the rest of your life this way. Or I'm offering you the ability to go back 10 years in time. 10 years ago today, you go into your body wearing the shirt that you were wearing that day, starting off life from that point on with all the knowledge that you have in your head right now of what you've learned in the past 10 years. Inventions, new businesses, new offense, the direction of the game.
This is a no-brainer. This is like Back to the Future because you could bet on sporting events and you'd make the $100 million. So you would already know who wins the Super Bowl.
So you would just take,
even before that part, even before I thought about it, you could make the money because once you said you would know the future, so you could just make money.
What if I took the ability to gamble on sports out of it?
I still would 100%. Like that's easy. To go back 10 years, to be able to like know what was going to happen and make just handle things different ways and stuff. I would definitely do that.
You could, yeah.
But if you went back like 13, then I may just stay at Tennessee, and who knows what would happen. So if you change the game to 13 years.
Yeah, let's change the game to 13 years.
Wow.
Well, I already said I would have went back. So
well, I guess like the thing I'm a little disappointed in is that like that was probably too easy for you.
It's way too easy.
I love that he went straight to Biff Tannen though. Like that is.
Yeah, because if you know who's going to win the Super Bowl and you have any amount of money, you can just bet it and win it immediately.
Plus, it's like as you get older, at least I do. I see that thing now about like you can't buy time. You can have all the money in the world, but you can't buy time. Time's going to run out. So I do see that.
This shows how dumb I am though, because I'm like, oh, you could do that. You'd have this offense, and you'd know the portal was coming. You could do no, just put all the money on the games that nobody knew was going to happen. Like put all the money on George, well, was it not George Mason or Butler or whoever, some NCAA tournament upset. Oh, St. Peter's beating Kentucky. Like that. I didn't even think of that. This is why he's a lot smarter.
The 16 seed.
Yeah, it was like supposed to be like a thing that's like You know, all
But take that out. Just think about like what you could do. Like you'd be like,
Stock
hey
market.
guys,
well, the stock market.
there's going to be this thing, COVID.
But I offered him $100 million.
And people would be like, what?
Oh yeah, you're going to buy Pfizer stock is what you're going to do. That's
That's a good point.
You're going to buy Zoom stock. Lane, we've now wasted plenty of your time with the Would You Rather. So this is you are no longer doing anything valuable for your program. So we're sorry about that. But thank you so much.
This is not helping us on third down or red zone, but it was entertaining.